Hey guys, happy day 11 of the ABC challenge. If you are new around here, then you are in for a treat because we have a ton of videos from A through J, because obviously today's day, we're doing letter K today. So go ahead and go check those. But otherwise, we're going to just jump right into today's letter. As always, I'm going to break down the lowercase strokes and uppercase strokes and then do a couple of sample names. So welcome again. Thanks so much to those of you who were in the chat. Super fun to catch you guys. So thank you. It's been awesome. I will be making sure that I go onto Instagram this week to catch up because a ton of you guys have been participating. So I am excited to check out your work. So we have lots of people in the chat. Let's dive right in. Now I'm really excited because I got a little crazy and flourished this last letter K here. So that'll be really fun to do when we get there. All right, and as always, all supplies and links will be down below. And just as a side note, if I ever miss something, can you guys let me know, like comment after this video, so that way I can add any links or information that I mentioned but forget to include in the description. And yesterday I tried something new. I tried to do Instagram and YouTube live at the same time, and it was a little overwhelming. So today we are just on YouTube. Okay, so I kind of just jumped right in. I didn't really talk about this first stroke because you've seen this before. This is your basic entrance stroke. Then we're going to do our ascending stem loop. Now here's where it gets tricky. You're going to do a tiny little bracket, but the hard part is fitting that in such a tiny space. Okay, so let's kind of break this down a little bit more. Maybe this pen is a little bit difficult to see. Okay, let's, actually let me just finish this little formula here. Ascending stem loop, and K's are tricky. Oh, I totally missed that one. Okay, once you get the hang of it, it's fine. It's just what happens, let me zoom you in even more. This area in the middle it's like a little traffic jam. And so I wanted to zoom in on that for you and show you what that looks like on a larger scale. Okay, so if I were to pretend that this is my X height here, let's pretend this is my X height. Okay, and then this is my baseline and my waistline. So if I have that stroke, pretend that I had my ascending stem loop up here, okay, and then I have my heavier pressure down here. Can you pretend with me? So then you're going to make this little bracket where you start at the top of the X height. You're going to start at a hairline, add a little bit of pressure, but then taper right off into the middle of the X height. Then come back out at a hairline, add a little bit of pressure, but then taper back off again at the baseline into a hairline, because the idea is that this is sort of like your underturn. Can you guys see that? If I were to cover up the rest of this stroke here, you can see that this would be the shape of an underturn. So a lot's going on here. Another way we can do this, let me bring you down here first, is you can have your entrance stroke, you can have your ascending stem loop, which you can break down into two parts, by the way. If you wanted to have your stem, add a thickness here, then come back around and finish that loop. And then the other way is to create a small loop, add a little bit of pressure, but be sure to taper back off when you reach the middle portion there. So what this looks like together is entrance stroke. Okay, so sorry, let's do that version again. Add the stem, oop, a little crooked, but you get the idea, right? So far, so good? Okay, thanks for joining in the chat, you guys. Hi, Anna, thank you so much. Yes, it was really fun to tune in with Becca this morning. If you guys are able to catch that that is on the Happy Ever Crafters Facebook, and she will be sharing that to her YouTube soon. Okay, so if we take that same example again, if we pretended this was our, oops, what did I do? Pretend this is our ascending stem loop, and then I added my stem here. Then what this area looks like is coming from the middle, hairline, curve, pressure, back to a hairline, hairline, pressure, back to a hairline, and curve upward. So the tricky part with the letter K is that there's so many transitions. You're going from thin to thick and back again. So that's where you get into trouble, because you guys have seen these two strokes before, but it's this last part, this bracket. Okay, so I'm going to zoom you out a little bit so we can do our capital K. How's that going so far, you guys? If you're watching this on the replay, I'd love if you give me a thumbs up if this is sounding good to you. Okay, so the first letter K that I have up here, you're going to start with your lead-in stroke, or you can call this it's like a compound curve essentially. And at the end of mine, I tend to bring it over to the right ever so slightly instead of straight up like this. Okay, so you're going to add that to your basic downstroke or your capital stem. Okay, you can add your dot if you'd like. Then you're going to add that bracket again. Okay, so this is a lot easier because it's on a larger scale. But some things to note is that I'm starting off at a hairline, adding some pressure, tapering off, coming back out, adding pressure, tapering back off into a hairline. Okay, so what that ends up looking like is you have your lead in, your capital stem, and then you have your bracket here. Okay. And I wanted to give you one quick variation that I like to mix up sometimes. This area that it pinches, sometimes I will add a tiny loop. It's just kind of a personal preference, just for style purposes. So here's my first part of the bracket, then I'll stop here and I'll curve out. So very subtle difference, but now do you see this little loop here? Keep it kind of tight, but not too tight. I do want it to have some space in the middle there. Okay, so because I have, I want to make use of our time, I'm going to look at Instagram. So to those of you who commented on this Instagram story, I asked you for names that begin with K. So I'm going to start at the beginning. Tons of names. Oh my gosh, how funny is it that the first three are Caitlin? And I just wanted to let you guys know that I've been trying to, I think I missed one letter, but I've been trying to save these Instagram stories, because what it does is it saves your responses. So if ever I have the itch to write some names, I'm going to just peek at that and just write as many as I can fit in whatever session I'm doing at the time. So keep an eye out for that. I don't know when, but I just wanted to let you know that those name suggestions are not a waste. They will be tapped into someday. Okay, so Kate, Lynn, two different spellings, but this had two, so two, I guess, votes, if you will. Okay, so just doing your standard letters here, Caitlin. All right, let's do scrolling. Let's do a guy's name, Kevin. Now with this name, I'm going to do a different lead-in stroke, just a horizontal hairline with a slight curve, and then I'm going to attach that to my capital stem. Okay. And then the ending of your letter K goes nicely into your next letter, so you can go ahead and connect those. keeping all my downstrokes and shades on the slant line, keeping a nice even pace with my strokes, okay? Let's hop back up here just to kind of analyze. So see how I keep the stem on the slant line, okay? So we have this slant line for a reason, use it. Okay. And also another thing to note, let's look at this K right here. You want to keep the space inside relatively even. They're different shapes, but you don't want the top part to be too constricted and then the bottom part to be too wide, vice versa. And then you don't want them to be both constricted and both too wide. Does that make sense? So just a good even spacing for those two areas. All right, what else do we have? Let's see, Kimberly. Growing up, I had 3 Kimberlys in one class. What names, let's do a random question of the day. What name did you have growing up in school, if you can relate to me, and you had like multiple people with that same name? Another one I can think of off the top of my head is like Jessica. I had a ton of Jessicas in my class. Okay, so for this K, I want you to pay attention because I'm going to flourish it. I don't start with my lead-in stroke. I start off with the capital stem. And then instead of ending here, I continue with an oval, add a little bit of pressure. And then you can either stop here, but I like to keep going and then finish my loop. Finish that ending part in the middle of that loop that I just created. Oh yeah, Isella, Jennifer. I knew a couple of Jennifers too. And then I go backwards into the entrance. Okay, so what that means is I come back here where I started off with that capital stem, and then I start with a hairline. I dip a little bit below, and then I can either end here, or you can go through and end up here. It's really up to you how much you want to flourish. And flourishing itself deserves a whole course, like a whole segment at the very least. There's so much that goes into flourishing, okay? Let's see what name I can connect to this one here. Kingsley. Let's see, Kings. Let's go ahead and bring that G. Kings. So I purposely knew that the Y would also descend, so I didn't want to bring that descender of the G too far out. Okay, let's do Carla. Would be very beautiful. And because Carla does not have any descenders in the name, what we can do is flourish the bottom of Carla. Being mindful of where our baseline is, you don't want to necessarily touch because sometimes that just creates more of a traffic jam there. Okay. You had 3 Kevins and Michelle. Oh, how funny. Hi, Justin. Okay, a few more here. How's everyone doing? And I asked this yesterday. Ooh, someone gave a ton of names. I'm trying to find kind of like more unique names. Kylie. Okay. Let's get some bounce in here. What was I saying? Oh, yesterday, I think I asked, I forgot which, this is a little messy. I forgot which letter it was, but I asked you guys if you've been keeping up with practice, and if not, what has been preventing you from, oops, don't know where I'm going with this one. What are some things that are preventing you from practice? What are some things that would make it easier for you to practice? And I'm really asking because I would love to, oh, Christinelle, that's an interesting name. I would love to find ways to help you bridge that gap from not practicing to practicing. And I'm not promising miracles here. I don't think it's beneficial to make any promises, but I do think there are small things you can do, whether it's every day or within the week, to just improve. So if you are watching this on the replay, or if you are here in the chat, I'd love if you just drop a little line of, yes, I'm keeping here with the challenge, or no, and what's something that would help you, or something that you wish could happen, that or maybe something that's you're troubled with. Because I know for me personally, it's number one, finding time, but number two, just being focused in the little time that I have. I'm sure a lot of you guys can relate to that, especially if you're just a type of person who's super busy. And there we go, letter K. It wasn't too bad. Let's see how we're doing on time. Oh, I didn't realize 16 minutes has gone by. So let's go ahead and end this, you guys. And so thank you so much for tuning in with me today. I am going to catch you tomorrow for letter L. Yay! Thanks so much. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'd love if you'd give it a thumbs up if you're enjoying the series. And if you love the series, why not subscribe to my channel? Just because after the series, I'm super pumped to continue sharing tips and tricks and helping you along your own journey, which is why I asked you the question of what I can help you with, what you're lacking in your practice, because what good is all this information if you're not actually practicing and putting your pen to the page and making some results, okay? All right, guys, I will see you tomorrow. Oh, no worries, Leticia, for joining in late. I will hop on tomorrow, and I will see you guys then. The replays will always be up, and I'm just going to catch you guys next time.